and tell me about your lesson and what your objective is.
Okay, when you come and watch the lesson that I've prepared, the students are going to be learning about different types of nonfiction. In second grade, we spent a lot of time talking about fiction and nonfiction, and then we break it down even more and talk a little bit more about the different types of nonfiction that are out there. And I will be going over with them. There will be a little mini lesson with a poster to support different types of language that you might see in the different types of nonfiction, such as the sequencing, problem solution, comparison, descriptive, and cause and effect.
Cause and effect seems to be really hard on the kids. Do you find that in second grade as well?
It is, and this is not the only time we're going to be talking about it. This is something that comes up quite often. That's probably one of the trickiest ones. We'll be doing a little bit more of that, more Kagan strategies even. We do numbered heads together with a computer game that works on that a little bit more. They do showdown with teams, and it'll come up again and again. And pretty soon they start to get the hang of it, but it does take repeated practice.
I'm glad to hear you mention the Kagan strategies. After Ashley presented that to the staff, it really has taken off. And I have to tell you, every time I have observed it in a classroom, 100% of the students are engaged.
Yes, absolutely. That's the best thing about it.
How are you going to be employing the Kagan strategy?
Well, the structure that I'm going to be using is called Rally Coach, and I'll be having students matching up with partners, and they'll be working with the person called their shoulder buddy, which is the person who sits right next to them. And in doing this, they just go back and forth, taking turns, and if someone needs a little bit of help, then they use a strategy that I call the 3 Ps: pause, prompt, and praise. Because sometimes people don't need help right away. They don't need the coaching part right away. They just need a little more time. And so my students are trained on how they can provide help or be the coach if needed. Give some pause time, give a prompt if they ask for it or need it, and praise them if they should happen to figure it out from a prompt. And, you know, if it's still tricky even after a prompt, then we just go ahead and tell our partners and help them out in that way as well. So I like how it works on treating each other with dignity and respect, and that, you know, they're just really being helpful to each other while learning is important.
Yeah, and practicing that collaboration, that verbal component, teamwork.
Yes, it's great to see them praising each other.
Now, in here, I was also reading how you engage the students using magnifying glasses. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. This activity, just like many of our other reading activities, we encourage them to be detectives. And on my board, always, all year, is the detective poster with Snooper and his magnifying glass, and we read to find the clues and look for answers. And in this particular one, the cards for the partner activity are quite small, and so it's perfect for the magnifying glasses. We're getting out our magnifying glasses as we read the clues and look for the underlined keywords, and then they just take turns using them. And it is really engaging. Something as simple as that, it makes it more fun.
They are learning and they're having fun as well. I'm really glad to see that you are focusing on the nonfiction. Experts continue to tell us that high school students, even when they're completing the ACT tests, that they struggle with that nonfiction test, and even at the collegiate level with the information text that the students are using. So it's definitely up to us to jumpstart that here at our level, so thank you. Good idea. What strategies are you going to employ to manage this lesson?
Well, some of the different things that that I do during this is, like I said, it's very student-centered because the partners are working together, and it's very strategic though. When you think about partner activities, it's just not like, you know, I put kids next to anyone. I have my students often sitting in groups of 4, and whoever they are next to or across from, they have differing levels of skill. And I know that one person's probably going to be able to help a little bit more if necessary. So it's strategic. as far as that. And while they're working, I'll be walking around and monitoring and, you know, maybe offering a hint or two, but I find that I'm pretty much just the facilitator during this time, and, you know, it works out pretty well.
Okay. How long does it take you to put the kids in groups? Because that's a lot of planning.
You know, before I'm able to do an activity like this, at the beginning of the school year, I need a good 3 weeks to really start to understand the ability levels of my kids and knowing who works well next to who. And so I'd say probably a good 3 weeks before we're ready to start activities like this. But then my kids are used to being moved. It doesn't always have to do with behavior. They know that I have my reasons, and I don't have to give a description for, well, I'm going to put so-and-so here, because they're so used to it, because we switch it up so often that, you know, they just go with the flow.
It's part of their routine.
It is.
It's expected of them that they're going to be working with others. What strategies are you going to use to ensure that the students are engaged? Engaging the boys and girls, as we've talked about before over and over again, is the key component to any lesson.
Okay, so of course we want higher level thinking going on here, and we want to make sure that they're not just going through the motions. And so they're going to be asked to apply these different skills as they look back up at that poster for keywords. They have to use application. They have to then, you know, at the end of the lesson, they have to evaluate. They have to maybe work with a different partner. They have to maybe work with a face partner, someone sitting across from them to describe, now, why are we doing this? Why is it important to know? Tell your face buddy, why is that important that we learn the different types? And that ties into author's purpose, which we've discussed, you know, why authors write for different purposes. So hopefully they'll be able to, you know, express that and show some different higher level thinking.
I can see after everything they have done, in order to be able to do that, they would really have to have synthesized what they have accomplished today, and that will be very interesting to watch you.
I'm hoping, you know,
observe them.
the goal is by the end of the year, because this is going to take some time. I would not say that I would be ready to do an assessment after one activity like this. This is an ongoing thing where it's gonna take some practice.
The building blocks.
Right, but that by the end of, you know, I would say maybe even beginning of third quarter, we're experts. We should have this down. It should be automatic.
Very nice. How are you going to assess them
Since
as they are working on this?
it's a good point. You know, a lot of it is observing. You can see which partner groups are getting it, who's struggling a little bit, and I have my own little checklist that's going on. It might just be check or plus or check minus, who's really struggling. But I also then look at the big picture. How are my MAP scores going up? Are my benchmark tests showing improvement? You know, there are different specific questions that relate to nonfiction that I can look to these scores and see if my kids are making gains.
Well, it sounds like those simple anecdotal notes that you're going to take with your pluses and check marks are another way to have a summative information on how they're leading to those MAP scores.
It really does help out. And it also, you know, helps me when I have meet with kids with their independent reading projects. I know who to target a little bit more on different questions.
As we move forward, you are, Laurel, you're a teacher who always self-reflects. I hear you over and over again say, I could do things this way, or maybe I'll try that. Can you tell me a little bit more on how you are going to self-reflect on your lesson?
Well, as I said, you know, I will be revisiting some of these skills, no matter what. I know that there's always going to be some kids who need repetition. There will also be those kids that I'm meeting with in small and large groups, mostly specifically smaller, as we break into like team read and things like that, and we have different types of literature that we're working on, and we'll have dry erase boards that we can pull up. What kind of text are we studying today? What kind of nonfiction is this after we've shared the book? There'll be different ways that they can respond, and as they respond, then I can say, am I doing a good job? Are they getting what I'm trying to teach them, or what do I need to spend more time on? So just based on some of those other observations and the different small and large group things that we'll be doing throughout the year.
I think the whiteboards offer a non-threatening environment for the children to write down their answers, whether it's right or wrong. They know they're just learning. They're not inhibited at all from that, and they erase it, they move on. I don't see people feeling bad if they get something wrong. I think that's a great way to
It's true, both in small and large group.
assessing. Explain your current methods and frequency of providing parents feedback.
Okay, well, that's a wide variety.
It is.
But, you know, in addition to the report cards and progress reports if needed, I send home portfolios, and they go home quarterly with report cards. So I brought for you an example of a portfolio that I'd like to show you. All of my students get this quarterly, and it has in it a lot of self-reflection, some goal-setting sheets and that type of thing. And then it looks at different curricular areas. We have some of our reading tests will go in here, and our math tests or samples that they're proud of. And then at the end of the quarter, they'll be asked to reflect. How do they think they're doing in different areas of the things that we've studied throughout the quarter?
At the second grade level, are they hard on themselves, or how do they evaluate themselves?
You know, it's funny that you should ask, because it's actually the opposite. Even my strugglers often will be like, I'm doing great.
Well, we want them to be confident.
We do, but so we have to spend a little bit of time and talk about that. You know, like, be very, very honest. You are not getting a grade on this. This is just your honest opinion about, do you ever struggle? Ever? Do you ever get anything wrong? I mean, if you're putting all smileys, that means that everything's right all the time. And so we spent a little time talking about that. But yes, so this has been a real positive, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from parents at the end of the year when we keep adding and putting things in and color coding by quarters. They keep this, and it's a nice keepsake with all of their different things that they've put into the pockets for, you know, second grade. So, and also, you know, while I have this out, I've just been holding on to some different things that go along with the different domains of the Danielson model that we've been using. And so I've been just collecting things in here that I'd like you to hold on to, and maybe you can look at it.
I would love to look at it. I like how you were labeling the different domains, just separating it out for yourself already.
Yeah, it's just a work in progress, though. I have so much more to add, but I'm starting it.
I know a lot that you do at our school, but that doesn't mean I know everything you do. Can you tell me how you impact our school community, or what you have been doing as a member of our school community?
Okay, well, I think I'd like to start right with my team, my second grade team. I feel like, although all teams have a facilitator, and I love our facilitator, I feel like within my second grade team, everybody gets to take on leadership roles, and we contribute, and I feel like I've been able to be a contributor, help younger teachers, or just help everyone. You know, I've shared units, and they've shared with me. And so I really like the collaboration that occurs right on my team. Also, different things that I've done school-wide, I think about the social committee that I serve on, which is not very academic, but I think it's a very important role. Morale is really important. And then I have been on the evaluation committee for the district, and
Done a great job.
Thank you. It's been a very big learning experience for me, and I think for all of us.
Absolutely, for all of us.
I come to different events, you know, Pumpkin Fest, and I also like to think that outside this school I've helped with different things like, you know, Bulldogs and, you know, junior basketball leagues and things like that contribute to our district in the long run as well. One other thing I want to mention is that the Words Their Way program that has become more increasingly embraced with all the different schools in our district. I feel like I had a big part in helping that to become a part of what we use here at District 118. And I'm really happy to see that happening. Kathy Henry and I did a little bit of research, and we even ended up being published in a book chapter from it was National Lewis, a professor published our research in her book.
I can tell you, not only myself, but a majority of our staff, after they saw your presentation, it definitely catapulted towards their way to a new level in our building, where it definitely is thriving now, and it's a great literacy tool that we have.
Thank you. I've enjoyed doing that.
Well, I think we're ready. I have a lot of information here to observe your lesson. Is there anything you want me to specifically look at when I'm inside your classroom?
Well, it would be nice if, as you are looking around the room, or just the different strategies or different things that I have in place, if you see anything that you think, oh, that might run more efficiently if she did it this way, or if you see some dynamics between kids that maybe I've missed because I'm so focused on other things, anything that you see that you think would be beneficial, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Laurel.
Thank you. I'll see
I look
you.
forward to it.
Yeah, see you soon.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.